I made it to top 15. I'm so excited. Okay, let's make this elephant hybrid. So it's a hybrid and the elephant ate some sort of animal and became that animal overnight. That's my fantasy. So I made the sculpt out of clay. I used my fingers and I also used clay tools for that. And I used 99% alcohol to diffuse the edges as well. And for even more texture, I'm using a broken toothpick. Yeah, it works. And diffusing it with alcohol. And there you have it, that's the finished sculpt. I wanted to give my elephant some tusks and I did that with Elevamorph plastic. Super easy. And to get a sticky base, I used the color correcting palette for this. And the Haywire from Full Throttle in black. And to get the mold making going, I'm covering my sculpt with cooking spray and I wipe off the excess. I put a clay wall around and I take a thin layer of plaster to get in every nook and cranny. Then I fill it all up with the rest of the plaster and let it dry. And then I clean out my mold and my face cast, coat it once again with cooking spray and you are good to go with gelatin. But remember, this is hard, so be careful with your fingers. Give it a shake and put your face cast in. And be very careful when you remove your prosthetic and powder as you go and cut off any excess. And there you go, there's your prosthetic. And this time I pre-painted my prosthetic with alcohol-based paint and cream paints. A little touch-up on the tusks and there you go, that's the prosthetic. And now over to the hybrid animal. I'm using some tin foil and I'm making a horn and coating it with latex and paper. And making small balls out of latex and paper. Then I used the hot singles in the color Lul to make the base shading on the horns. And to deepen the shades, I'm using the Explicit colors from the Full Throttle collection. I used some black and red hairspray to get the pattern I was looking for. Okay, let's get started. Yes, I got close on nyxfaceawards. Then I take the color correcting in orange to block out my tattoo. Then I take the Stay Matte but Flat foundation in soft beige and bounce it all around. Then I use the Hydra Touch foundation and caked it on in color natural. And I then felt completely naked. Whoops! To map my design out, I'm using the NYX Wonder Pencil as always. It's so easy to wipe off if you mess up. I then filled in my body with some gray water activated paint. And to highlight the highest points of my body, I used the NYX Jumbo Pencil in Milk. And then it's easy to bounce it out. And it's a cream shade, so you need to set that shade, and I'm using the whipped cream from the hot singles. I'm using the NYX Liquid Suede in Kitten Heels to fill in my inside. Well, yeah, my inside. And I'm using the NYX Ultimate Palette in Brights, and I'm using the red to set that color on my chest. I take the Lid Lingerie palette and I'm using the brown shades in the palette, both of the browns, to start shade inside of my inside. Then took the NYX Perfect Filter palette. This is so gorgeous, and I'm taking the gray to give my body some structure. I then took the blue in the palette to deepen the contour even more. And we are back with the Jumbo Pencil in Milk, and I'm making some bones. You have to have bones. Same procedure as always, I'm setting the color with the whipped cream from Hot Singles. I used a new Epic ink liner and I used that to outline my whole design. And I dare to say, this is my favorite liner of all liners. It's so good. Duochromatic illuminating powder, a crushed bloom. Oh my god, this is a perfect highlighter. And in Snow Rose as well. Yeah, I love them. From the full Throttle collection, Haywire, I'm using the black again, and that's to deepen my design even more. Then I go inside the design and deepen the deepest corners. Then I use the black all over to give me more shade. And I'm using the NYX white liquid liner to make highlights. It's dancing time! Okay, I'm using the black hairspray to get the same pattern as I have on the horns. Now I'm so ready to get the prosthetic on, so I'm measuring the prosthetic to see where I can put some glue down, and I'm using Pro-Z inside the prosthetic and on my face. And you have to wait till it's dry. And always start with your nose. And it's time to glue down some edges all around the prosthetic. Okay, and you glue down your tusks. And right about here, I lost my depth vision. Whoops. And to get it as smooth as possible, you can blend out the edges, and I'm using Witch Hazel. And then use the jumbo pencil in a black bean. Okay, see my nose. All over my lids. Use a brush to smudge it all out. And from the Haywire, I'm using the black again to set that black bean. And elongated my eyes as well. I then filled in my face with some gray water activated paint, and I couldn't see anything, and it was quite difficult. And back to the perfect filter and the gray in the palette to make some strong contour. And here I'm just carving out my contour. I took the NYX Liquid Suede in Alien on my lips. And to sharpen up that wing liner, I'm using the Epic ink liner. I love it. Look how easy. And I wanted to give my elephant some body paint, and I did that with the Epic ink liner as well. And on the design, I also used the NYX white liquid liner. I used the duochromatic again in Snow White, well, all over. And I sprayed my hair with the black hairspray and dotted the pattern all over. And I did crimp my hair before, and I used the Redken thermal holding spray before I crimped my hair. And the horns had to go in place. And if you want me in the top 5, you have to vote, and you can vote from the 10th of May on Nordic Face Award. I'm gonna leave everything in the description box down below. See you guys soon, goodbye!